rent now, pay later.
It's a new option for renters who are struggling to make the monthly payment. You can spread your payments out. Companies like Flex and Affirm are letting users break up their rent sums into multiple payments throughout the month. So let's say your rent is $2,000, you pay $1,400 on the first of the month, the remaining $600 on the 15th of the month. Typically, it depends on the service that you use. You pay them a fee or a monthly subscription. But if you miss the payments, that's when the interest rates go way up. So look, I get it, rent is expensive and people are struggling to get by, but if you can't make your rent when you're supposed to, you might need to
Adam,
find somewhere else to live.
Is this a bad idea?
This could be
it's dangerous. It's dangerous. I would say if you know that you've got expenses, account for them, let them accrue over the month, be smart about it, and don't get into a situation where you're borrowing something that you know you have to pay.
Yeah, with the interest, this is just a way to keep poor people poor. Whoever came up with this has to be one of the most diabolical people in the world. The best solution is either live below your means, cut down on any crazy expenses, and fourth, make some more money, either through skills or other side hustles. But absolutely do not take them, because you're just going to dig yourself more into a hole that you don't want to be in. My roommate is doing this right now, but he's like 5 months behind. Jesus! Turn your 1-year lease into a 36-month lease. Sounds great. I'm a landlord and I have no issues with this because people who don't pay the company back will just get banned from the app.
For those of you who are just getting into ruining your life, I would recommend checking this out. It's a great opportunity to just get started, get your feet wet a little bit, see what it's all about.
America is so broke now, they said, don't worry, you can pay your rent on layaway. Rent has jumped 28% in 5 years. So now the solution is not affordable housing. It's payment plans. Yeah, now you can rent now and pay later. Companies like Flex, Livable, and even Affirm, they stepping in like, don't worry, baby, we're going to slice that into installments for you. Because rent is taking a whole paycheck for most people. Not half, not a chunk, the whole paycheck. But I want to be clear, they're not doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. We're talking about a monthly subscription fee on top of charging them a percentage of their actual rent. So now you're paying extra money just to pay the money that you don't already have. That's like being charged a cover fee for your own house. And this isn't small. Over 40 million people in America rent. That's a whole economy built on you struggling, and they're gonna monetize on it. Instead of fixing the issue, America said, nope, let's just put it on installments and keep moving. So I have to ask, are any of you using buy now, pay later for your rent? Have you had to? Or would you do it if it's the only way to survive? Because at some point, this stops being innovative and starts looking like desperation with a subscription fee. Enough is enough.
I use Affirm and Klarna for groceries because after paying my main bills, I don't have any money left for food. And I'm not surprised because we see constantly of how many people are struggling, how many people are going to the food banks. It's a very sad situation now. Credit card debts are no longer enough for the system. They want us in debt with the main basic necessities. I don't know what the main plan is. I think we know what it is. It's to enslave you. It's to get you to a point where you have no other choice but to do what they tell you. In fact, they can do a lot of things in plain sight and you won't have the power or energy to fight back against it because you're so busy paying back bills.
We need a little bit of education on what interest is. Let's do basic math really quickly. $100,000 loan, 10% interest on that loan, and you pay $1,000 per month. You are thinking, the average American, is that $1,000 is going to the principal of the loan. $833 actually is going to the interest that's being accrued and $167 to the principal. Let's say it takes you 30 years to pay this off. Instead of the $100,000 loan that you thought you're paying, you probably paid close to $350-something thousand because of the interest that... The more that I think about situations and how predatory everything is in a society, all I could do is sit down and just sigh.
They'd rather force a recession than provide us with dignified, affordable housing. I'm thinking like this is how it is now. Imagine if we get to a point where you're like in your 60s. You ain't got no money for retirement. You ain't got no money in the bank account, period. How is it gonna be like when you try to rent on those type of rates at that point with a fixed pension?
Alan Ferber shares a 4th-floor walk-up apartment in New York City with a roommate. At 87, escalating rent costs hurt.
So the rents have gone way up along with that.
It's gone insanely crazy.
Did you ever think that you would have a roommate at this age?
No, not at all.
He splits the $2,000 monthly rent for a 500-square-foot apartment with Daniel Yaffet. Yaphet, who's 69, is an avid biker. He sleeps in this loft.
Could you afford to retire, you think?
Well, I wouldn't be in New York.
Dan, where'd you get that cup?
They connected through the New York Foundation for Senior Citizens, a nonprofit that matches seniors looking to share housing costs.
I was by myself for a bit, and I thought I should get a roommate just to help.
More than 1 million Americans aged 65 and over lived with unrelated roommates in 2024, a 16% increase from 2019.
If you didn't have a roommate, could Social Security, you think, cover all your expenses?
Barely. What really helps is working at Costco 3 days a week.
It's not just tenants in major cities. In 2024, older homeowners nationwide listing spare rooms for rent increased by 63% compared to 5 years earlier.
What would you say to someone, Dan, who's considering doing what you did?
Oh, I mean, for sure, yeah. I've heard a very good outcome. I'm better off, certainly, with having a roommate.
But honestly, someone at that age and a lot older will probably benefit from the rent now, pay later situation, because you obviously know why, because. Okay, here's what I don't understand. If you're in your 80s, why would you need to stay in New York City? You could move to a state like Kentucky or Virginia and pay like $500 a month for rent. It looks like these two men are alone and they don't have family around. So it's their choice to stay in a super expensive city that most people can't afford anyway.
Gen Zers need higher pay. Why? Because of rent. The asking rent in most cities in America is $2,000, and a lot of landlords require 3x the income to qualify. So if you're coming in paying $25 an hour, that's not even enough. That's $52,000 a year. That's $4,333 a month. They don't make enough to qualify. If they're lucky to find a landlord that's going to do 2x, fantastic, they qualify, but then that's 46% of their gross income on rent. You can't do that. And after taxes, you're walking with $3,400 take home. That'd be 59% of your take home pay for rent. They can't afford it on $25 an hour. So they have to get a roommate. And if you get a roommate, it's $1,000. Now you're around 29% of your income, which is still a lot. So for the businesses, the corporations, we have to stop blaming the Gen Zers and the millennials who are asking for $25, $30, $35, $40 an hour. That's what they need to live. It is not their fault that the rent prices are this high. It's not their fault the housing prices are this high. It's not their fault that the government decided to rack up $38 trillion of debt and spend $1 trillion a year on interest payments, where that could have gone back to the people to make housing affordable. But no. So we have to stop giving them shit. It's not their fault. They just graduated into this bullshit. Don't think that they want 25 or 30 an hour because they want to drive a Lamborghini to work. No, they just want to qualify for an apartment.
Gen Z, who's a manager and makes $27 an hour in California here. I can't afford to not live with my parents. I tried to buy a house with a down payment grant that would be forgiven, but I don't even qualify for the grant. I'd need $25K extra a year. Living with your parents and you still can't make the down payment?
Something is wrong here.
Restaurant operation manager here in New York. I literally make $19 an hour as an operations manager, and I haven't gotten a raise in 3 years, but my responsibilities keep going up. It's a struggle. Also, I have 3 college degrees.
What?
Why are you still at the job? 3 years and you are 19?
I'm out, man.
Klarna having a buy now, pay later option for rent is one step closer to indentured servitude. Like, I've heard of people getting a month or 2 behind on their rent, but imagine someone being a year behind on their rent, and what happens if the rent goes up? And a lot of people default on Klarna payments now, but that's for shoes or a computer or something that's like a couple $100s or a few $100s. But if you're paying rent, you're gonna be thousands of dollars behind. If you default, you're gonna be homeless and you're still gonna owe. Plus, Klarna makes their money off the interest. This just doesn't make sense at all. I don't understand how this could even become legal, because let's say they charge you an interest rate of 19%, which is like their standard rate. You're gonna get behind hundreds of dollars for 1 month. Then the next month, you'll still be behind a couple $100s, and it's just gonna keep building and building to where you'll never be able to leave where you live, because you'll just continue to be in this hole. And it might not be Klarna, it might be another app, but this should be illegal.
Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are with the rent now, pay later situation and the way rent has climbed up. Leave your comments down below. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out this video. I'm pretty sure you're definitely going to enjoy it. But nevertheless, I will see you guys when I see you. Peace.